What's up, YouTube? This is Rich with the Side-Eye Stitcher, or the Side-Eye Stitcher. I guess at some point in the future I'm going to have to explain where I came up with that name, but I feel like sometimes it's pretty self-explanatory. Recently I picked up quilting and cross-stitch and some other interesting side hobbies for what it is. And I've really enjoyed it, and I wanted to start sharing some of the projects that I've been working on and trying to get done. Maybe get some feedback. I don't know. See what goes on. My quilting adventure, I'm going to do both of them in the same video. Maybe at some point I'll split them up, but for right now they're both going to go in the same video. My quilting adventure, as you can see, I have a little sewing machine behind me and all of my things. But I live in an RV, so I don't have a lot of space. I don't have a giant design wall. And I think that's kind of influenced some of the projects that I've taken on as far as quilting, but maybe not. I've got a couple quilt tops that I've finished, and my mentality has really shifted on some of those as I've worked on them, but we'll get to that when I get to them. I guess first, let's go through some of these cross-stitch. Let's do the works in progress first, and then I will get to, I have finished a couple, and then, yeah. So some of these are really hard. You can't tell what it is. So I've got this guy, which I got it off Amazon. It's Star Wars, The Child, because I like Star Wars, and I wanted to see something I felt like was relatively easy. I didn't want to jump into something super complicated and hard first thing, which then we move into the complicated and hard. So next up, I decided that I was having so much fun with that I went with a much bigger one, which is really a full coverage. It's really big, but I got it off Etsy. It's Visit Hyrule, Legend of Zelda. It's my favorite game ever, so I figured why not. And this one, I've been putting a lot of focus on trying to keep the stitches in the back looking pretty, and focusing on keeping stitches going the same way and all the things I'm supposed to be doing anyways. But as you can see with my first one, I was all over the place, and I'm trying to figure out what works the best for me as far as method to my madness, going from top to bottom or jumping all over the place. There's not a lot of confetti stitches in this one, so it's really nice. It's just a lot of stitches, and I'm just doing it in blocks. The other one was, I discovered Floss Cross, I think is what it was. Thought it was on this, but apparently it's not. And this might give away what my career choice is, but it's my rank insignia for the military. And I went to my local cross-stitch store, which kind of is where the Side-Eye Stitcher came in, because when I walked through the door, I got a lot of interesting looks. It's like one of them old Wild West movies where you walk into a bar and everybody just kind of stops and looks at you. That's what I got. But I found this really nice 18 count Zweigart navy, that I didn't need all of it, so I've got that for a different project. I also picked up some 14 count, it says Ada on the package, but it's really fine. It's like cloth. It's not linen, but it feels like it, and it's very intimidating. And I started to do something on it, and then immediately kind of changed my mind and said, I'm going to save that one for a little later. That's a little more advanced than what I'm looking for right now. So those are the projects that I'm working on. And the big full coverage one, I tend to leave here, and when I'm just at home and I need something to work on, I work on that one because I don't want to travel with that. And then I bring one of the smaller ones in my project bag when I go out and about, or I go to work and I have a lunch break or something. And then for finishes, I don't know how to, like, what I'm going to do with these to like really finish them, but I made this one for my daughter. I actually added the name in the bottom. That wasn't part of the pattern. I went to I think it was the DMC website, and they had an alphabet that I was able to piece together her name. But it was a unicorn that we were at Hobby Lobby, and it was one of those starter kits that I didn't use. I didn't use the cloth or any of the colors that came with it. I legitimately just used the chart and floss that I had. because the stuff that came with this was terrible. So, but that was done. I'm trying to figure out what I can do with that one. And then my very first project, the first one that kind of got me started on this, was this guy right here. May the Force be with you. Once again, Star Wars. I love Star Wars. And I was, I think it turned out pretty well, but the back is atrocious. I was, like I said, I got into quilting, and I was walking through Hobby Lobby trying to find some fabric, and I walked around the corner, and there was a cross stitch section. And I remember growing up many years ago, my grandmother used to cross stitch, and it was always fun when we went to see my grandma that she had one spot in her kitchen, like on the entryway to her kitchen, that she would always hang her most recent finished cross stitch. And it was always exciting to see what she had finished. And she tried teaching me when I was younger, but I did not have the attention span to sit there and do hundreds of stitches over and over again in the quiet by myself. That wasn't what a 10-year-old child wants to do. So now that I'm 40, it's more entertaining. Sorry, it's really hot here today, and I can't have the AC running while I'm recording, otherwise you will not hear anything that I'm saying. But yeah, so, and I walked into the cross stitch section, and they had a couple patterns. They had a couple of the beginner ones, like that unicorn, and I had another one that I haven't even started yet that was what I got. And then I went on Amazon and looked for a couple things, and that's where I found the child and May the Force be with you, and I picked them up, and I haven't been able to put it down since. So I guess that's where that's going. That's all the cross stitch I've got going on right now. But I also have been dabbling in quilting. So initially, my mother-in-law taught me how to operate the sewing machine and how to quilt, and it was extremely relaxing. So I kind of ran with it. I bought a couple books of a couple different styles of quilting and I'll go over those at a later time, because I think it's kind of important, or not important, but fun to go through some of the books and see what some of the options are in them without having to buy it. But I picked a couple books, and I really leaned towards modern, like geometric, solid colors and things like that. And so that the first couple quilts that I did, and I'll show those at a later time when I can get them finished, because right now they're folded up in a project box awaiting to be quilted. But since that one, my taste has really changed in what I enjoy doing with quilting. So I guess, let's see. So the first quilt was really geometric. The second one, I made all these courthouse steps blocks, and I made them in a bunch of solid colors. And I almost forgot I have one more finished quilt. Sorry, dropped some floss. But I did I don't have it down here. I'll show it in the next video. A rainbow quilt that was all solid colors. None of my local quilt shops had that many solids. So I ended up having to order a bunch of them in, and then because I was ordering them off the internet, I wasn't sure how much I was getting, so I ordered more than I needed, so I had a lot of extra solids. So that's where these courthouse steps came in. That's based off of I believe it's Toad and Sew courthouse step zine, something like that. I don't know. It was a freebie that she sent out, and I really love the pattern, and I love the solid colors, and I'm drawn towards a lot of colors that I wouldn't have imagined I would be, like the purples and the teals and the blues and things like that. So I'm just waiting to sew that together, but I want to lay it out on a big flat surface so I can see how it's going to go before I sew anything together. And living in an RV, I don't really have access to that right now. So that one's kind of on hold until I can get to that point. The next one that I am currently working on is from quilting the national parks. Like, I love every quilt in here, every one I wanted to make, but I'm currently I'm doing the Grand Canyon from Arizona. That's where I'm from. So there's a really bad glare. So I have everything cut out for that, and of course, the glutton for punishment, I decided to do the round sun block first, and it turned out really well. So I'll show that in the next one when I get a little further. Everything is starched and hanging, and I'm just waiting to press and finish cutting out, and then I'll start sewing that together. But somewhere about maybe a month ago, I found The Last Homely House on YouTube, and I think I've watched almost every video that Kate has put out since then, and it's really changed my perspective on quilting from they need to be this perfect geometric solid color, everything has to go, the quilting needs to be nice, to I mean, it's a quilt, it's for me, it's to keep me warm, and it's what I want it to be. So moving forward, I'm going to try a couple of different quilts that maybe go a little different. I want to try hand quilting. I really just kind of want to try a lot of different things and see what I enjoy, which really leads to the next work in progress. And this has escalated. This is a English paper piecing project that really, I watched her video and I said, I want to try that and see how that goes. So I like the cross stitch. I like the you know, the repetitiveness of the sewing and all of that. So it really started off with just this central flower. And I told myself I'm going to turn that into a pincushion. And then I just kept wanting to practice and I kept wanting to do it. And I cut all these out by hand. And I thread basted them. And moving forward, I'm not going to thread baste because I think gluing works better. And I bought a bunch of pre-cut templates, like die cut templates, and they're slightly bigger than what the ones that I cut out by hand are. So I just kind of kept going with all the ones that I had cut out and some scrap. Like I got this fabric from like Walmart for $5, and it's really just an experiment. But I've got I think 4 more blocks that need to get put up right here, and then I'm gonna turn it into a pillow and go from there, because I had fun and I'm gonna keep doing it. And I've already got 100 projects lined up that I want to do to go even bigger on the English paper piecing scale. But those are the quilting works in progress right now. Like I said, I think I've got 3 quilts that the tops are done. I have backing done. It's just a matter of quilting, which I think I'm going to just do it myself and see what it is. Since they're my first quilts, I don't really want to spend the money to get them long-armed, if we're being totally honest. But today, on my way home, I stopped and got a glue stick so that I can continue English paper piecing. And my local shop had the Mid-Atlantic Shop Hop stuff starting to go out. And they had... This is going to be too big for me to see, but you can go on the internet and see these if you want to. But it's the middle panel, which I'm not going to leave it whole. I'm gonna chop out the sections and make a bigger quilt out of it. But I was super excited to see that and to pick that up. So that's coming on the horizon as well. I think one of the other big projects that I'm trying to figure out is cross-stitch floss storage. If anybody's got any kind of guidance on what's the best option for that. Like I've got little bobbins, which they're kind of a pain to use. And then with the last project, I went with like floss drops to do it. And I like the length that they're already pre-cut the way I did them. Super convenient. I just don't really have any place to hang that many of them right now. So there's a lot of pros and cons. And I guess I'm going to lean into one way or the other and figure out which one I like the best. And then we'll really go from there. So there'll be an update on that probably next week. We'll see what happens. But otherwise, thank you for watching if you made it this far. Hopefully I see you again. And I don't know. I'm going to try and do some kind of weekly post right now, and we'll see how it goes. And maybe if I got something really fun, I'll do a quick video in the middle of the week or whatever. But I'm probably going to shoot for like Wednesday uploads at this point, just because it's in the middle of the week and it's easy for me. So once again, thank you for watching. This is Rich. I'll see you next time. Bye.